Boyfriend's 32M. Friend told him to cancel a date with me, 30F. Context. My boyfriend has a female friend he's been friends with for at least 67 years. I've only met her once when we happened to run into each other at a concert. So I don't know her well. Before we were just dating and before made it official. He used to talk about her a lot. So I had asked him, just to get the whole story, if he ever had feelings for her. He said, no, and that though she's attractive, if he wanted to get together with her, he would have pursued it. I then asked, if I weren't in the picture, and she asked you to go out with her, would you? He said, if you weren't in the picture, why wouldn't you be in the picture? I asked him to answer, and he said, I would be lying if I said I wouldn't consider it. But after some time, he and I made it official, and I tried to forget what he said. My fault. It has bugged me deep down, though, that he said he wasn't into her, but then also said he would consider it if she had asked. If I weren't in the picture. Fast forward to a couple years later to now, and I was on his phone playing a mobile game he wanted me to test out and get me to download and play. 2. I had taken off work early to spend a few hours cooking a special meal for him. And I was taking a few minutes break while the food was simmering and finishing up to play when he came over. I saw a text notification pop up from her, going, I have a solution. Just cancel on her. I admit, curiosity got the best of me, and I went to his texts and read what preceded that. She had texted, hey, question for you, / so-and-so, is in town. I guess a mutual ex-colleague, friend, and invited me to restaurant, and he said I can bring someone. Wanna come as my friend date? 1. It will be fun. 2. There be yummy food. 3. It will be free since it's being expensed. 4. We get to hang out. Boyfriend wrote back, reason 3 and 4 are awesome. Then he wrote, I think I already have dinner plans with me, but I will check. He came over. So clearly I was still cooking and dinner was on. We had talked about it prior. So not sure why he said, I will check. She wrote back, I have a solution. Just cancel on her. Quote, this bugs me, and I'm not comfortable with them hanging out one-on-one anymore. I'd never ask a guy friend to cancel on his girlfriend, but I feel I'm just overreacting because it still makes me uncomfortable. He had said before he would consider going out with her. But I feel like it's my fault because I decided to get into a relationship with him anyway, and I'm way too old for this feeling I have that is so high school. And I shouldn't have looked at the messages. I feel I am overreacting and just need to work out my insecurity. Right? Let him know that you saw the message while you were playing the game. Tell him it concerns you that she would tell him to cancel plans with you to take her out to dinner. Instead, inform him that crosses a boundary and made you uncomfortable. Info. If you've been together for years now, why have you only met her once on passing? I've read in another comment that he didn't try to cancel the date, which is a good sign. I don't think you are overreacting. That's awful behavior coming from a friend. It looks like she is trying to get with your boyfriend, but he doesn't see it. My advice is to be completely open about it. Just tell him you saw the message on the phone while you tried to play the game he suggested. Talk it out, or else it will always come back. I have a good guy friend and I would never ask him to cancel on his GF to go on a friend date with me. I would also never call it a friend date. Nauseated face. Also, it is strange you've never met if they talk a lot. I would definitely talk to him about it. I would be very uncomfortable too, and it seems she doesn't respect the relationship. Info. How often does he see this friend? I have two ways of viewing this. One is that he rarely sees her. He used to talk about her a lot because they hung out a lot. But years have passed. They've grown older. He is with his girlfriend most of the time, and doesn't really have time to hang out. So she texts him when she needs a last-minute date, and doesn't really put a lot of thought into the girlfriend she does not know at all. Just like he puts little thought into her offer once he realized he already had plans with you. Honestly, she might have been trying to arrange meetups for a while, and he has been blowing them off because he would rather just stay in with you. Maybe she's interested, maybe not. I like that she knew to say friend date, and that asking him on a date would be weird. Either way, he is not interested. But if he sees her regularly, I would also not be comfortable, and would need to address it. It is strange that he has a close friend that you have only met once. That this close friend, who knows he is with you, thinks nothing of flippantly telling him to cancel on you. Male or female, if he is close with them, they should be aware of his relationship and respect it. And this kind of indicates that he has allowed a lowering of boundaries. Not the end of the world, but worth the discussion. I don't think you should worry or even be insecure. Nothing about those texts indicate cheating, and nothing about his behavior, because he could have made up an excuse and lied and canceled on you, indicates he has any interest in being with her instead of you. I don't think your past conversation is a sign of anything other than young people aware of potential dates. Sure, she was someone he would have been fine considering dating. I'm sure there were plenty of guys when you were in your early 20s that you would have maybe said yes if they asked you out. But you never pursued relationships with those guys. And he never pursued one with her. Whatever that extra hump is that makes people take the leap beyond the observation of reasonably compatible person into the person they want to pursue, he didn't have that with her. Did he try to cancel on you? It seems not. I have no problem with opposite-sex friendships and I'm not a jealous person. However, even I can tell her sneaky tone there. She's trying to undermine your relationship. That isn't a proper friend, that's a girl who fancies your boyfriend. I'd be open and honest about the message you saw and why it made you uncomfortable. In all fairness, there are probably a lot of PPL he would consider dating if you weren't in the picture. This one just happens to be someone he is friends with. I completely understand your feelings. I'm not a fan of opposite-sex friendships myself. I'd suggest letting him know that you saw the messages and how it popped up. You weren't snooping or anything, but be prepared to tell him how you would like the situation to be resolved. Are you going to ask him to cut her off? Or just not hang out alone with her? Or something else? Make sure you know before bringing it up what you'd like so things don't get out of hand during your conversation with him. Good luck. You describe a behavior that your BF neither rewards nor shuts down his old friend. So I get why you're torn. I emphasize old. After 67 years, this strikes me as a settled pattern. What tips the scales for me is that nothing in his behavior, and moreover, nothing on his phone, suggests that he's taking it seriously. I think he's long since come to expect such talk, and evidently she expects him to casually brush it off. Consider exactly where the dialogue ended. He not even bothering to finally turn her down. She not bothering to prompt for a closing response. An example of two people so accustomed to how such beginnings are gonna end that the last lines aren't worth the effort of texting, as they already know. You're not overreacting. That's rude as FCK. My partner's ex used to act like that, putting me down with sly digs and undermining me in the relationship whenever she could, even though we had never even met. Guess what? She finally confessed she was still in love with him. He did the shocked Pikachu face. Obviously, the fact that she feels so comfortable talking about you in this blatantly dismissive way to him also speaks volumes. He's obviously either let her know this is okay by not immediately nipping it in the bud, or, worse, He's encouraged it by going to her to whine about the problems in your relationship. Don't put up with this. It's a slippery slope. Take it from me. Tell him you saw the message and wondered what it was about. Laugh and say something like, "It wasn't referring to me, was it?" Then when he looks guilty, because he is, you can really dig in about it and ask to see the context of what she said for yourself. I really, really wish the best for you with this. He may just be a person that doesn't say a hard no. So instead he said that he will check. But his replies didn't hint that he would actually go. I think this is more of a her thing than a him thing. 1. Asking a friend out that is in a relationship, and not suggesting the friend's partner come along. 2. Suggesting said friend actually ditch partner to come hang with them. I am positive that if you scrolled up you would find a few more messages like that. But with him ditch on her instead. Also, how many times has he seen her since you two have been dating? Maybe when you asked him the question he started thinking about her actions towards him and made him feel like she may be a threat to your relationship. Or maybe he saw that she made you feel insecure. So he went low contact with her, which is also why you two haven't met more than once. Communicate and tell him what you saw and how you feel. Establish boundaries. If this girl didn't have bad intentions, she would have invited you as well. Your question was kinda weird and circular. If he weren't with you, I imagine he'd be dating someone else. Whether that be a personal friend or not doesn't really matter. I guess the question would make more sense if you had noticed the two of them being really close in person, but by your own admission you have only met her once. Also, out of curiosity, how long have you two been dating? All that aside, you are damaging your own relationship, not confronting your feelings. Have you asked yourself why you feel so insecure in this relationship? Has he given you reason to? Or is it prior relationships, experiences? And these pieces of advice to slyly confront him about it while not giving away that you were snooping is just planting bad seeds in your relationship. Relationships should be based in trust and honesty. Are you gonna check his phone every message he gets? Discontent that he may be cheating? If so, then either you already don't fully trust him or your insecurity has already damaged your relationship. Ask him about it. It's understandable to be bothered by this. But what you should be paying close attention to is how your boyfriend responds to things like this. Does he politely shut it down? Or does he feed into it? This feels like a wait-and-see situation to me. Unless he's prioritizing her over you can bring up if or when certain actions bother you. But you will ultimately have to trust him to handle it. She is interfering. It is exactly why when you are in an intimate relationship, should not be hanging out with dateable friends. Boundaries are crossed. And many people I see have feelings they don't admit to for their friend. They just sabotage their love lives. There are tons of stories on Reddit. I would set a boundary. It is an emotional affair. The support and bonding is going to the friend, not the partner. Why not bring you along to meet everyone? Hey, you are valid to be upset about this. I have a boundary I found around this. For me, we don't allow people to get inside of our relationship. Between you and I, if we want it to work. Period. So, she can't go trying to be closer to you than I am. Same goes for me. And anyone we do let in should always know their place is to support their friend, which includes their choices and intimate relationship. Someone trying to get in between me and my relationship instead of externally supporting it isn't to be trusted. I mean, like, what do you is to say? To agree with you that you are overreacting and just need to work out your insecurity? And no, I'm not going to say that. It's so clear that she liked your BF and wants to spend time with him. You could just be honest and tell your BF you saw the MSG by accident and you do not feel comfortable with this girl. Explain to your BF. If the roles were switched, would he be fine if your guy friend told you to cancel on an activity you already planned with him? Had the same dynamic in my marriage with kids. One of my biggest regrets in life is overlooking and excusing their dynamic and how comfortable she was disrespecting me. Never again will I be in a relationship with another BFF, mom, sister, GF dream girl package on the side. When girls ask questions like, if you weren't dating me and so asked you out, would you date them? It really annoys me. It's creating problems when there weren't any. If you weren't in the picture and never existed or never spoke to him and somebody asked him out, of course there is a chance he would say yes. He wouldn't know you in that situation. But he does know you, and guess what? He chose you. That's a good thing. If he asked her out and she said no and then he dated you, I would understand you feeling weird about it. But he consciously chose to date you and nobody else. Be happy about that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.